After my wife's infidelity, I had my first therapy session. My wife asked me to separate last week. I was devastated. Although she doesn't want to do couples therapy, I decided that I was going to work on me. Prove to her that I am worth fighting for. I am still in the house and refuse to believe that it is really over yet. I will fight for her until I can't anymore. We have 2 wonderful children and I owe it to them to try. I also swore to my wife that I would always be there for her. I plan to keep it up until I can no longer choose. I had my first session today and it was mostly backstory. Where we are at, what has brought us to this point. After talking for about 30 minutes, the therapist focused on something. I seem to put up barriers to my wife, trying to hide parts of me that I don't want her to see. For fear that she will reject me. I try to make her happy by not disliking her and being myself, flaws and all. Her advice at this point is for me to stay home. I can't be there for her if I'm not there. I have to remind her that I appreciate, accept and acknowledge her. It may be a slow process, it may not work. But if I'm going to do what I can for this marriage, I have no choice. She helped me realize how much is going on in my wife's life that makes her feel rejected and less than. And how my attitude is contributing to it, even if unintentionally. She also recommended that I start being transparent. To tear down the walls I have built, not to approach her and dump every bit of my being. But to allow myself to be myself, flaws and all. My first instinct is to put on a show. Pretend I'm a perfect person to get her back. I have to be myself. If that's not enough, so be it. I have no idea where this will go. I may not make much progress right away. If any progress at all, I'm going to try. Update. My wife is a horrible person. A week ago, almost to the minute, she told me she was no longer happy and wanted me to stay home so she could take the kids to school and help them with homework. It was unexpected, it was devastating. I wanted to do everything I could to make things right. I loved her, when she told me she had 0 emotions. She's been a completely easy woman with me all week. But I refused to give up on the marriage. I thought the fact that she wanted me to stay meant there was a chance. After the worst week of my life, I ended up having a panic attack this morning. I was going to the doctor and then to work. I had to pick up my day because she was going to stay at a friend's house. Well, I left my daughter after finding confirmation on my wife's phone that she was, at the very least, involved in an emotional affair. She had left for her appointment. I couldn't go to work. I wasn't in a good place. I was home when I heard the garage door. She was back. Very concerned about the fact that I was home. She said she had come back to change. She left in work clothes, grabbed her overnight bag and left. So, she had turned off her Find My iPhone but not her location service. I was obviously assuming something was up. I called my brother as he has been very helpful this past week. I found out she had not gone to work. He went shopping, then sat in his car for 2 hours. I told my brother he was probably waiting for this guy. He lives out of town. He finally moved, and stopped, at a hotel. I was right. I drove to the hotel and called her. I called her several times and she didn't answer. I sent her a text message. It basically said, I know where you are, I know who you're with, and your actions will destroy the children. She waited until I left and sent the coldest string of messages I could have hoped for. No apologies, just that she told me she wanted to separate so she doesn't know what I wanted her to say. Then she said we were done. She waited 6 days, I guess. I admit I got scared. I wanted to know how long it was going to be. Who knew? Probably out of spite, I called his sister. I asked her if she knew. I was absolutely shocked. So out of character for her. Then I called her friend. Her brother is the other man. She was shocked too. About 30 minutes later I got a text asking if she was calling her family. It was a satisfying trap of yes. Her plan to make me the bad guy was ruined, her lies exposed. She tried to get mad at me for following up on her phone, LOL. I just responded with an I was right. This started before the breakup. She has been cheating on me and then turned around and tried to manipulate me to make me feel bad. He literally turned on a switch and tried to make my life hell. It almost worked. To end it, after being caught red-handed, she and this ridiculous guy went out like they were on a date. She's still going to spend the night with him. To be honest, that doesn't even bother me anymore. Any love I had for her is dead. I had to pick up my kids after school and it's just me and them for the night. Meanwhile, their mother is sleeping with a stranger a couple of miles away. There is something seriously wrong with this woman. Tomorrow I have to tell the kids that their world is going to break in too. I've started getting my stuff ready for the move, although I won't let them see it. And tomorrow I have to tell them I'm moving. It's going to be very hard for them. And this is their gift to them. All I've given this woman is all my love. And this is how it ends. She's throwing her family away over a midlife crisis for a guy who's already been married twice and has like 4 kids of his own. I figure this will end well. I will give her the same treatment she has given me. I don't want explanations or excuses. She probably doesn't want to give them to me anyway. It will be a short conversation. I'm leaving. I tell the kids, this is my plan to keep them for now. When I go to the house to see them, I don't want to see her. I don't want to see her at all. I may throw it in her face that she disgusts me, zero attraction to the left. But my family has been amazing. My brother is coming back after my daughter is in bed. I don't think I can be alone with my thoughts yet. I'm surprisingly optimistic right now, but I'm sure I'll fall apart. I'm still worried about the kids though. Let her keep the house, but don't leave. Get a lawyer and get her temporarily kicked out of the house. Once everything is settled, and you find a new place, just move. Let her boyfriend have her, let her live with her 4 kids, let her family and friends see her for what she is. I'm so sorry this is happening to you. Do not leave the marital home until there is a separation agreement. It will be painful to stay, but talk to a lawyer first. It could be considered abandonment and affect custody and property division. OP, I am in Minnesota. There is no abandonment statute. I don't want the house. Honestly, she can have it. She put $80,000 from her father's death into our last house, and that equity led to this decision. I don't want that money. Update 2. I told my cheating soon-to-be ex-wife about meeting with a lawyer and she got mad. So what made-up fantasy land does my wife live in where I can catch her cheating? Let her continue her meeting throughout the day while I go pick up the kids from school. Then, when I tell her I met with a lawyer and wanted to discuss how things proceed. And her response is anger. She starts hitting things and gets sarcastic with me. She said she was in no hurry. Well, she made it pretty clear that day that we were over, by her actions and her words. Not that I would have accepted her anyway, so, I think the response of any sane person would be to start the process. This woman has lost her mind. She has shown zero empathy or remorse. She is just trying to get on with her life with a newfound freedom, not wanting to deal with any of the consequences. We have 2 children who are devastated by the separation of their parents. It's as if an alien has taken over their body. Because she is not the woman or the mother I have known for the past 16 years. To add some context to her madness, I found out she took the day off work last Friday to meet this guy. A sordid encounter at a cheap hotel. I went to the hotel to confront her. I called her several times and she didn't answer. I told her I was there and that I knew where she was. Her only response was a text message while I was in the lobby. She always tries to maintain a very morally correct image. So I called her sister while I was there to let her know what I was doing. I thought I would preempt any slander she might be willing to cast on me. She's on the foggy affair and you're ruining her good time. Of course she's angry. I'm glad you've started divorce proceedings. She was probably hoping you would string her along and give her a chance to fall back on her plan B, if things didn't work out with her partner. OP, I hope his new relationship fails miserably. He is currently married as well, his 3rd wife, but you know what they say. 4th time's the charm or something like that. She's still in the fog of the affair and, in her mind, it's all about me. You're thinking clearly and taking the right steps. Do the 180, Grey Rock, and put yourself and your children first. She has given up her right to your sympathy or affection. She probably blames you for her unhappiness, and sees your presence in her life as an obstacle to that happiness. Update me. OP, right now I'm content to make her uncomfortable. Tonight she asked me if I had plans and asked if I wanted to meet somewhere tonight. No thanks, I told her. She's about to wake up, things aren't going well for her and that's why she wanted to hang out with you. She didn't really have a final plan, this guy doesn't really want her, he just wanted to have a good time and use her. She is starting to realize that. She is about to lose everything and in the end be left alone with her kids realizing what she is. In fact, she never thought you would leave. Your kids are old enough to decide who they want to live with and the judge will ask them during the court process if you can't come to a custody agreement, be prepared because she is going to want to reconcile. OP, I think she knows me well enough to know that's not on the table, key word here, any sane person. You assumed she was sane because she acted sane for the last 16 years, but people can go crazy or hide their craziness. You have to prepare yourself because you are not fighting a sane person and therefore you have to be prepared for everything bad that you can't even imagine. Seriously, she could try to convince your kids that it's your fault, she could try to convince your own parents that you were abusing her, she could tell all your friends that it was you who cheated on her, she could call your work and tell them crazy, she could destroy your stuff, she could lie to the judge and tell him you were abusing your kids, etc. All of those things have happened to people on this sub. So get your stuff ready and ask your lawyer what you can do to prevent wild things from happening. Seriously, you are headed straight for dark times, and it will be tough, but think about your life and your kids. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but you have to work to reach it or you will stay in this dark tunnel.